morning, everyone. Welcome to today's talk on William Carey. Can you picture yourself hearing the voice of God saying, "Come, follow me"? Imagine a world without international flights or international airports. And yet, the shoemaker by trade heard the call of God and decided to go to India. William Carey was a shoemaker by trade, but scholar, linguist, and missionary by God's training, according to Fred Barlow. God's giant in the history of evangelism, someone once said, was who William Carey was. He was born in August 1761, in a thatched cottage in England, Northamptonshire village. He was the eldest of 5 children to Edmund and Elizabeth Carey. As a child, he was interested in the natural sciences, especially botany, but he also taught himself Latin. By 16, William Carey was sent by his dad to be an apprentice shoemaker. The second apprentice shoemaker job that he did was at Thomas Ould's shoe shop, and he married Thomas Ould's daughter, Dorothy. Dorothy was illiterate, which was quite a contrast to who William Carey was. They ended up having 4 sons and 2 daughters. While working in his shoe business, he taught himself Hebrew, Italian, Dutch, and French. Not very common for a shoemaker to be studying all of these kind of languages. In 1783, he was baptized by the Particular Baptists. In 1785, he became the schoolmaster and pastor of a local Baptist church. Can you see the trend? From shoemaker to pastor to missionary. It's very interesting that very often the call of God comes to people of simple trade. Our response would be, "I'm not good enough for this. How can I, a shoemaker, become a preacher?" But in the city of Bolton, while being the pastor of this local Baptist church, he read The Last Voyage of Captain Cook. And after reading the voyage of Captain Cook, he realized the call of God to go and share the gospel of Jesus Christ. It was a revelation of the human need away from his own homeland. But many questions come up. How do I get to the field? Of course, there were no international airplanes at the time. There were no missionary societies, and there was no missionary interest amongst the church. He never gave up. And one day, on preaching a sermon that became his motto, "Expect great things from God, attempt great things from God," he fervently sought to leave to share the good news on a foreign land. In 1972, the Baptist Missionary Society in England was formed, and in 1973, he left for India. He was ready to leave without his family. At the docks, his wife and sons at the time were standing on the docks, not willing to board the ship. It took William Carey 2 trips back to them to convince them it's time to leave. She was pregnant at the time with their 4th son. The first year in India was devastating. Imagine landing in India, for some of you that have been, where there is no language ability, where there are thousands of people crowding around you. What would your first reaction be? "I'm not getting off the ship." But William Carey later realized the importance of staying focused on the call of God on his life. In 1807, his wife Dorothy died, and he remarried. In 1821, his second wife died, and that same year his son died. But he stayed focused on attempting great things for God. His later years in India was when he translated the Bible into Bengali. He also translated other literary works into English. The Bible translation during his time took many years, but it ended up being in 44 Indian languages. Expect great things from God. Are we willing to attempt great things for God? We often do expect great things from God. William Carey chose to leave London and never return. It's not typical of modern day missionaries. We all want to go back home, to take a break. But the one question I would like to leave you with is, am I attempting great things for God as William did? Life of William Carey by George Smith gives us a full picture of the life of William Carey. This morning, are you willing to attempt great things?